Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up.
Well, good morning. Happy hump day to my beautiful coffee beans. Come on in. We have a breaking news case that requires all of our attention and all hands on deck. This is an important case. This is a breaking news case. 2 adolescents have been found deceased.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. 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 Today's gonna be a good day. So life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day. Well, hello, my beauties. Hello. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you, Michelle, for gifting that Bullhorn Betty membership. We'll get back to the other two as I go down. Who received that? Danielle. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Because I'm a love machine. Art has become a member. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. It's nice to see everybody this morning. We got a breaking news case, folks. Before we go on to it, I want to go ahead into the intro for this morning about it, and then we'll further discuss. Oops, sorry, got the wrong one still up. Dad, burn it. I hate when that happens. There we go. This morning's episode covers an ongoing case involving two young, unidentified juvenile females whose lives ended in circumstances that are deeply troubling and heartbreaking because of their ages and out of respect for them, for their families, and for you, the audience. I want to be very clear at the onset. We're not going to use graphic descriptions, we're not going to sensationalize, and we're not going to speculate recklessly. This conversation will be carefully measured and focused on facts that are appropriate to share on the community impact and on broader questions this situation raises. If you're new here, my name is Bullhorn Betty, and this is the Coffee Club, where we talk about real cases, real people, and the systems that are supposed to protect them. When children are involved, there is a special responsibility that comes with telling their stories. They cannot speak for themselves. They cannot correct the record. So our goal this morning is to center dignity, empathy, and accountability. We're going to walk through what is publicly known about this case in Cleveland, Ohio. We will discuss the timeline as it's understood so far, what authorities have shared, what questions remain unanswered, and how the community can play a constructive role. I'm going to avoid unnecessary details about the condition of these adolescents, and I will not be playing disturbing audio or showing disturbing imagery. If you at this point feel uncomfortable, please take care of yourself first. This case is a little shocking, so step away and come back later or sit this one out. Your well-being comes before any episode of the show. I also want to remind everyone that behind every headline, behind every press conference, are real human beings. Two children whose names we don't even know yet. Loved ones who may be searching, worrying, or grieving for these juveniles. Investigators and first responders who will carry these images and this experience with them. So as we talk this morning, let's keep that in front of us. This is not content. This is not entertainment in the cheap sense. This is about bearing witness, asking hard questions, and encouraging anyone with information to do the right thing and come forward. With that in mind, let's start laying out the basic facts as they've been shared with the public, and then we'll take a deeper look at what that might mean. So please stay tuned to the Bullhorn Betty Show for the next 2 hours as we break this difficult case down and what we know so far. Thank you and God bless. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you real soon.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.
All right, so that's kind of where we're at. You guys got the gist of it. We're going to have to be a little scripted on this particular case for a variety of reasons. One, because of the age of the victims. We've got to be very careful with wording and how all of this is described to our public. Again, we do not want to be graphic in any possibility. We don't want to be indignant or, undignified to, two adolescent juveniles that have obviously did not survive wherever they were. And that's just the reality of it. Are they siblings? Are they friends? Where did these children come from? Who could they be? Are there any missing person children cases in that area? We're going to start breaking some of this down. We're going to start searching. We're going to do live searches here. I may even open up the phone lines later in this show just to get your perspective. Because again, the last time we've had a case like this was the boy in the suitcase, and that was several years ago. And we have, the mom ultimately was, found. I can't remember the details of the case, but I know one of the cases where we had a young boy in a suitcase. It had appeared, at least on the face, that the child had lost his life due to natural causes. But I know there were other. This is not the first time we've had someone inside a suitcase. We can go back to Gannon Stauch. There's just a lot of things that go on. So who are these? How long have they been there? And who are they? Yes, who are they and how long have they been there are going to be some of the crucial questions. And do we have any missing person children cases? Now, I have not looked into the missing person children cases for purpose. I feel that we can do that together. In this segment. So good morning, True Crime Movement. It's nice to see you. Eeyore Blues. It's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always. Melanie, I'm so sorry you're having problems today. It sucks. I wish you the best with that. Amber, the real me too. It's nice to see you. Thank you, by the way, Melanie, for the super chat. Happy Wednesday, Betty, Delilah, mods in chat. Sending love to you, BHB, and everyone. Prayers to whomever needs them. BHB, I appreciate you. We appreciate you too. And I'm so sorry about your eyes this morning. Hopefully you can get into the doctor. Mine started, mine had been a problem. Like I'll be just laying in bed and then all of a sudden my print just started getting blurred, and I'd be like, oh, it must be because I'm laying down or something. Maybe it's doing something to my nerve. So I'd sit up and it seemed like it corrected itself. And then I heard Dolly talk about me scowling and I'm like, do I scowl? And I looked and I'm like, you got that little indentation right here. And I realized, I was starting to have headaches and I just realized I'm like, looks like I'm squinting. And so I went to the doctor and my eyes were pretty messed up. So I started understanding that now I don't scowl as much because I wear glasses. So I don't look as gruff. I mean, when I'm sitting there by myself, I guess I still have that blank expression look like that. It looks like I have a stick shoved up my butt. I don't know. I guess I just look the way I look sometimes, right? Thank you for that. Desi, it's nice to see you. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I never got to hear how it's supposed to go. I'm so sorry. OG Jitterbug, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I saw Melody Melody come through here the other day and say, "Oh, I finally get to hear you and you're not yelling." So I don't think I'm going to be yelling on this show as well. I don't have anything to pound my hands down on the desk for. You know, I do that for impact. I make you guys, if you're sleeping and I got something to say, you're going to be woke up before you leave here, because I make sure every person hears it, even the ones all the way in the back hiding in those bushes. Okay. YouTuber, it's nice to see you. Donna, it's nice to see you. Good morning, ladies. Narrative, thank you for jumping out of bed and being with us this morning. I know it's got to be ridiculously early when you guys were waking up. West Virginia Holler Girl, it's nice to see you. Danielle, Stacy, good morning. Who else did I say hi to you, Lisa? If I didn't, good morning. Kathleen, Danielle, Michelle, YouTuber, Cinderella, another prayer angel. There it is. Let them 66. It's nice to see you. Happy hump day to BHB. Mods and chat, prayers to all that need them. Sending prayers to all the missing. Hugs to you all. You're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who else do we have? I think I've said hi to everybody so far. Sonia, I don't think I said hi to you. Good morning, love. I hope you are doing well. Who else do we have? Michelle gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership, and that went to Danielle. So welcome aboard, Danielle. Who else did we have up here? Alicia, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. That went to Art, so welcome aboard. Who else do we have? Sandy, good morning. I think I've gotten everybody. Oh, no, I didn't. Deb, it's nice to see. Oh, hey, Deb, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? No, I got Michelle. Yep. Let them 66. Been with me for 14 months. Good gracious. Thank you for your love and your support. I appreciate it. Baby love, good morning. It's nice to see you. I think I got everybody. Oh, no, I do not. Robin, it's nice to see you. Downey, hello. Roxy, it's nice to see you as well. Hello. And oh my goodness. Thank you, Miss Sonia. Thank you. Sonia gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Donna Joe, Dana, Zep, Diana, Kickin' Wings. I love that. Kickin' Wings. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Because I'm a love machine. Ow! That's me, baby. That's me. It's time for you all to get up. If you haven't gotten up yet, it's time for you to get up. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering a crazy case. This case right here. Oh, thank you, Miss Robin. You forget me. Laugh out loud. Never mind. You finally see me. I said, Miss Robin. I said, hey. Here, I'll even give you a kiss. Let's give you another one. There you go. You look like you need a hug and a kiss. I don't have a hug button, so I have a kiss button. But it's better than the crack in the whip button. All those men out there, we know the reality. It's nice to see you. Hey, Faye, Gail, Oakley, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. So we have a very, very serious case. I'm going to have to be a little scripted here because I got to be careful with what I say. And then we're going to start reading. So I'm going to get through my intro. And then we'll kind of look at some videos and some news that are out, articles that are out there, and get some updates from some news. And then I may open up this conversation because this is 2 adolescents that disappeared off the face of the earth. It doesn't sound like this just recently happened. From everything that I understand about this case so far is these suitcases may have been out there for some time. What does some time mean? That's subjective when you read it, some time. What does that truly mean? I can't tell you. I don't know. Hey, Tammy, it's nice to see you. The real me too. Good morning. I don't know what that means. You know what I'm saying? You in a good mood today? You're well rested, we can tell. Yeah, I took off all day Sunday. You got to think about that. I took off all day Sunday. Yesterday was really emotional for me. I ended up, I got to tell you this. Actually, let me just take a side note before I jump into the story and before I get. So, hold on a second. Let me take my screen off. My nose is cheesing me right now. I don't know why it does this. Like every time I get live, it's like my nose starts tickling. I think it's like something. I don't know. But yesterday was very emotional, as you guys know. Me and Carol Ellen Feltz were friends. I like doing my work, my activism at the county level. I love it. I get to meet a lot of good people. A lot of those people on that board were, and in reality, are still friendly with me. There's a few bridges I burnt because of politics with them. Because, there's got to be a time and a place for everything, including friendship, okay? I have a job to do. My job is my community and protecting my community. And that means even against people that are my friends. She was just a beautiful soul that fought for her district, fought vehemently for her district. And she's going to be missed. She never became a politician. She never changed her stripes. That's what's going to be most notable. So yesterday was pretty rough on me, and so I took the afternoon off. I didn't come live again. I threw out some videos, and that was pretty much it. Actually, I don't even think I threw out videos. I think we did the one live in the morning. I came back here boohooing, and I even tried to get online and participate in my meeting verbally, like argue. And I missed a $7 million deal, and I realized that my head was not in the right place. So I just stopped talking. Like I just listened to the rest of the meeting. I didn't go up and speak again because at the end of the day, Bob McCann was right about the whole ordeal, and he's just being pummeled. And that's where my friend came into play, being on that county commission, because she was able to help support and block some of those initiatives that are really affecting people out east and in my community. So long story short, yesterday was hard. So I had Sunday off, and then of course yesterday, and because I took yesterday off, I was able to go to bed early, and I was able to just really take care of myself and rest up. So yeah, I feel a little rested today. I feel much better than I did when I came back on Friday and was completely exhausted Saturday. I mean, we were doing a live Saturday, and I couldn't even form complete sentences. My brain was literally so exhausted, it was short-circuiting. It was quite apparent. It was quite apparent. So yeah, I am rested. I am still reeling from my friend's, but we're doing a lot of good things for her. And I think she'd be honored and be very proud. So anyways, that's kind of where we are. Now getting back to all of this, guys, it's nice to see you, Unicorn. Randa, good morning. It's nice to see you. So let's get started in the as far as the scripted intro. So as you guys know, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Because of the nature of this case and the ages of the children involved, I want to set a few expectations before we go any further. I will not be describing anything graphic throughout the duration of us studying this case, okay? This is, we're dealing with young children here. Something terrible and tragic happened to these adolescent kids. Now, the one is, they're saying between 8.5 and 11, and the other one between 10 and 14. So we're talking about adolescent juveniles. Okay. These are very vulnerable, very young, and Cleveland, Ohio in some areas can be very rough. I don't know specifically where this is or what the crime level is. We're going to be searching all of that today. If you're listening live, please remember to keep the chat respectful. Do not post names of potential family members. Do not accuse specific individuals without verified public information. If you guys have any of that information, you're more than welcome to share that with me by email at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. And please do not share anything graphic in the descriptions or about the descriptions. My moderators will be watching closely, and this space is for thoughtful discussion and constructive concern, not for rumor spreading or trauma voyeurism. Okay, it's we're dealing with children that probably have been abused and probably been abused for some time. We're probably talking about children that most likely have had the Department of Children and Family Services involved in their case before this happened to them, which is going to be another talking point of ours, because we know that the Department of Children and Family Services are failing our children across this country. This is not immune to Tennessee. This is not immune to Manatee County, Florida, California, New York. This is happening all over our country, where our Department of Children and Family Services never pulled the trigger quick enough. It seems to me that they always seem to take the children from the homes that just need some resources in those homes and leave the children that are being violently hurt in their homes, in those homes, to perish. I have seen this horrible history continuously repeat itself. And I've although we don't have those informations right before us today, I do believe that that's what's going to ultimately be uncovered through this process. So everything that I'll be talking about this morning is based on information that has been publicly reported by authorities and local media at the time of recording, at the time that we're recording this right now. This is an active and developing situation. We're just hearing about it from like 16 hours ago. Okay, this is a very new and very much a breaking case right now. So I'll do my best to cover those in follow-up episodes. So right now, let's just get comfortable, grab a beverage, and let's walk through what we know, okay? So first, I'm going to bring up a, this should be, if it's on the right page, is this on the right page? This is not on the right page. This is not on the right page. Where is my page? Give me just a second. We have the wrong page. There we go. There we go. I got it on the wrong one. It's a New York Post that we're going to be discussing. And here's the New York Post. And I've obviously adjusted this for a different screen, not the screen that I need it to be on. So there we go. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. There we go. You guys see those behind me? Let's make sure we got this right behind me. Let's see, right side. There we go. So while I was doing my research this morning, and I don't know even really how I stumbled across this case, because I was just going through some emails and some messages and stuff like that. Let me see where we're at with all this. Sorry guys, I've lost track. I see you guys chatting in the box, but I'm started losing you guys, and now I'm just coming back. Bella Boo Boo, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning, Stacy. If you guys are just coming in, Denise, it's nice to see you. Dees, trust the process. Come on in, guys. If you guys are here or you're scrolling by, please come on in. I missed you guys when I said hello, so I apologize about that. So come on in, folks. We do have breaking news right now. We have some adolescent young girls that were found inside 2 suitcases that appear to be partially buried in a park in Cleveland, Ohio. According to everything that I've learned and heard about this case, it appears that these suitcases may have been in this area for some time. Now, I understand that that's subjective, but that's what we're hearing. So let's just go ahead and get started with what we know so everybody can get up on the same page. Again, I'm not describing anything graphic in nature related to this case. This is just factual information that we need. At the end of the day, these girls need to be identified, and we need to find out who did this to these girls. Okay, somebody deserves to be in jail, period. Period. Somebody deserves to be in jail. And somebody has hurt somebody. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. People need to be in jail, and we need to identify these beautiful souls. So the bodies of 2 young girls were discovered stuffed in a pair of suitcases in Ohio Park Monday after a dog walker stumbled on one of the luggage pieces and probably went to reach down and open it and spotted a hair and potential human remains. I'll leave it at that. Cleveland authorities said they are still working to ID the tragic girls, who were described as juvenile black females and believed to be victims of homicide. At this time, we do not know how long the juveniles have been at this location. It was some time, the Cleveland police chief, Dorothy Todd, said Tuesday, describing one of the girls they believe being between 8.5 years old and 13 years old, and the other one 10 to 14. I think we're going to find out these siblings were sisters, which again, very problematic. So here was the location, how they were able to remain in this area for so long undetected, guys, I don't know. But again, it was somebody walking with a dog. Their dog found it, almost like an Elijah Vu. But think of how creepy it is that we have 2 juveniles missing and we don't even know to have search parties out for them. You cannot tell me, like, we need to go through some of them. We need to go through some missing person reports, because 2 juveniles just don't disappear typically without a report. And if there were no reports, were these kids not even in school? This is heartbreaking. This breaks my heart. This case is going to be rough on all of us. There are no current reports of missing children in the area that match the remains, authorities said. I want you guys to repeat that. There are no current missing children. Where did these children come from? Somebody was able to disappear 2 children without anybody in this world knowing it. How in the hell is that possible in 2026? How is that possible in 2026? I just want to know. I'm not going to scream about it, but I want to know how that's possible in 2026. How in the world, even in the 2000s, right? We've had the internet since 1994. 1994. By 2014, we've had the internet for 20 years, 2 decades. 2 decades. There is no reason why we should have anybody missing in this country. With all now, especially with AI, why are we not putting this through our Department of Birth Certificates and Vital Statistics and truly find out how many Americans are truly missing from the United States of America we know nothing about? I bet you we would be probably scared to know the reality of that. No filter. It's nice to see you. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Come on in, folks. Come on in. This is not a good case. This is not a case that we want to be covering. We don't know what's wrong with people in our society anymore. We don't. We've been asking ourselves these questions for quite some time. But right now we have 2 juveniles that were just located in suitcases in a Cleveland park. And they believe that they are victims of homicide. And there are no reported missing children in that area. I'm very worried. And if this is happening in Cleveland, we know that this is happening all over this country. Remember, Summer Wells is missing and Sebastian Rogers is missing, and we believe both of the parents are responsible in both of those cases. Are we going to find Sebastian in a grave, in a suitcase, or in a sea bag? We need to start getting out in these parks for those people that like to hike, and that are part of true crime. Maybe start looking at areas that have missing people in them and start hiking in those areas, right? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way.
Digital desk, we're about to get an update from the police chief here in Cleveland on the case of 2 young girls being found partially buried in
We'll
2
get the full
suitcases.
press conference.
This was behind Ginn Academy. Their
full
bodies
press
were
conference.
discovered by a man walking his dog. His dog actually hit on or smelled the first suitcase, and that's when police were called. Let's get you live now to the update.
Out and located.
Actually, let me see. We should have, press conference. Let me find the press conference. Okay, so we got 11. So it doesn't look like we have the full. I'll have to find the full press conference, but this looks like the most we're going to get. It's about a 16 minutes, so let's listen.
The deceased individual that was in a shallow grave inside of a suitcase. The officers immediately began their investigation as they canvassed the area for any potential evidence on scene. The officers located what appeared to be a second shallow grave, and they could tell that there was a second suitcase in that location.
Wow.
The officers at that time identified that there was a body inside of that second suitcase as well. The medical examiner's office responded out, and they took custody
Hi,
of
Eric.
the
It's nice to see
individuals
you.
and for their further investigation. So we completed our investigation on scene. The only updates
That's
we
good to
have
know.
at
So I
this
take it you're
time
from the area?
are that the individuals are 2 juvenile black females. The one individual is suspected to be anywhere between the ages of 8.5 to 13. The second is estimated to be of the age of 10.5 to 14.
So I can tell you, just based upon this information that we're dealing with, guys, if you're from this area, thank you for being here. I'm very, very sorry that this is going on in your community. It breaks my heart that this is going on in your community, but these individuals need to be identified, and we have somebody that needs to be in jail for what they did to these beautiful souls. So we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel will work tirelessly to try to bring advocacy to that end for justice for these young ladies. So if you guys are in the area and you do have a unique perspective, my email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Please be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions, any insight, any information. I'm happy to take it. And I also wanted to let you all know that we also have set up a Facebook group. Where's my Facebook group? There it is. This goes to our next segment. Sorry, guys. So we have this group right here. I'm just building it right now from scratch. And it is Unidentified Cleveland Angels. We are dubbing these beautiful souls the Cleveland Angels. I don't want them to be Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2. You know, I just don't believe in that. These are beautiful souls that probably went through a lot of stuff that we can only imagine. And I don't even want to imagine what these 2 young beautiful angels went through. But at the end of the day, they don't need to be a Jane Doe. They don't need to be an adolescent doe. They don't need to be a baby doe. They need to be a Cleveland angel, because that's what they are. They're angels. And we want to respect and honor them. So we've got it unidentified. This will change once we know who they are. But moving forward, they're still going to be hashtag Cleveland Angels. So please, if you are a content creator, please hashtag Cleveland Angels. That's who we're referring to here for these 2 beautiful souls that lost their life, and I have to imagine by domestic violence. So we've got 2 stories that we're going to be saying here. A Tepe case is going on in Columbus, Ohio, too. I might have to take a trip out to Ohio. We got 2 major breaking cases, because I have a funny feeling, you know, we're getting into this case very soon, but I have a funny feeling this is going to be one of those cases that go viral, because, I mean, they're 2 beautiful young children, you know, adolescents, juveniles, that were found in suitcases, and there's no missing person reports for them. We got problems here in this case. We got major problems in this case that's pointing right at a guardian. From where I'm sitting, we're looking to identify these beautiful babies. Yeah, we have our Cleveland Angels already. Aw. Well, this is going to be 2.0 then, because they've got to be hashtag. I don't want to use any other name but Cleveland Angels for them, because I have a funny feeling it's going to get, unless you guys can think of a more appropriate name, you know. Ohio in the house. What's going on? Okay, well, it's nice to see you. Lamb Garden, it's nice to see you. It's good. Yeah, we've got some problems out in your area. So let's get moving on. I just wanted to tell you about the group. This will be a great group for us to discuss and put out information on these 2 girls. And this name will change. It will change once we know the identity of the girls. Okay, were they friends or were they siblings? Based on their age, this is going to be hard for us. I do believe that we're most likely going to be siblings, and we're definitely going to find out that it was mom and stepdaddy. You know, anyways, sometimes I get tired of just covering these cases. They're so sad, but we need to cover them.
At this time, there are no clear indicators of the cause of death of the 2 young females. And we're asking if anyone has any information, saw anything suspicious in the area, that they are to contact
Thank you,
the
guys,
Cleveland
for being
Division
here.
of Police
I
Homicide
appreciate
Unit
it.
at 216-623-5464. We will be operating that line 24 hours a day. So
It is my understanding for the I've lost hope in welcome to the true crime community. Like, we trust no one. Everybody's like, you attack parents. Parents are usually the first ones that injure their children, period. Okay, you're more likely to be murdered by your mommy and daddy than you are a third party, an unknown stranger danger. It's just statistically proven. So, I understand you're losing hope in humanity. You're in the right place, because we try to inspire people to get involved here, and we try to make positive changes every time we see cases like this. My first question, of course, is going to be, how in the world can 2 juveniles disappear in our society this day and age undetected? When we find out who these children are, they need to find out how this happened. And they need to make sure it never happens again. But one thing I can tell you, for the people that are new to this channel because of this case, let me tell you something. One thing that we have learned, and this is what's going to upset you and just make your blood boil. We're most likely going to find out that the Department of Children and Family Services were already involved in these children's lives, and they did nothing to save these children. This is one of the things that we deal with in every case that we cover, is the fact in Summer Wells' case, the Department of Children and Family Services were at her house the day before, which is probably what triggered her disappearance. It's probably what triggered her disappearance. Sebastian Rogers, 15-year-old boy, went inside his house with his mother, never came back out. She's still not in jail, and neither are the Wells. They're also in Tennessee. So you guys are lucky because this case is in Ohio. That means you don't have, I'm sure you guys got your share of corruption, but not backwoods corruption like Tennessee. Tennessee, the 2 places, Summer Wells and Sebastian Rogers' case, are in 2 of the most corrupt counties in that state. They will never be solved until we remove the sheriffs. Until we remove the sheriffs, those cases will stay dormant. I don't know why, but they will. So let's move on to this case, because I hope to God that this case will not stay dormant. If you are in the Cleveland, Ohio area, this might be somebody, we'll get into those details after this press conference, but if you know of somebody or remember somebody having teenage children and then one day they no longer had them, they went off to live with an aunt, an uncle, their significant other, they're no longer around. Thank you, Veronica. Veronica just gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships, which it's Ellie, you HUD. I know I'm going to miss this one. You HUD, I can't pronounce it. I'll call you Lee. Lee. No Filter, Eric M. It's nice to see you. And Christina, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room, because you're going to need it for this one. I am a love machine. Can't we throw out the law? No. We can't be criminals ourselves. We have to act within the confines of the laws that we are given. But at the end of the day, these children have to be identified. And how are we going to identify these children? We're going to have to identify a scenario. One moment, somebody had 2 children. The next moment, somebody didn't have 2 children. It's going to be that simple. Okay? Somebody saw someone with 2 adolescents, and then boom, did not have those 2 adolescents and were given a wild story. Like they went to aunties, they went to their grandmothers, they went to their fathers. They just never came back. Those are the kind of people we are looking for at this moment. Those are the kind of people that we are looking for. Hey, Tammy. Cynthia, it's nice to see you. So let's get moving on this.
Someone will be available to answer those calls. or they can call Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. At this time, we don't know how long the juveniles had been at this location.
There it is.
It was some time, so it's not just something that was recent. The investigation is...
That's going to be very important, folks. It has been some time. That is so subjective. What does that mean? 6 months could be some time, right? I mean, hell, a month could be some time. A month could be some time. 6 months? A year? This might be something from a few years back, folks. So put on your thinking noggins, because we're not talking about something that just recently happened. We're talking about something that happened a while ago. Somebody had 2 juveniles with them, 2 adolescent black females with them, and then the next day they were gone and gone forever. That's the person or persons that we're looking for, and it seems like we have several people from this Cleveland, Ohio area. So welcome. Maybe start asking around. If you guys need some flyers out there or something to help advocacy wise, if you guys want to start doing some digging or whatever you guys do out there, we're happy to support whatever we can support for you guys out there. Someone may have seen something. Exactly. My brother just moved outside of Cleveland, but worked at the hospital there. Your brother's so nice. Your brother's so nice. I've had an opportunity to speak with Miss Robin's brother. Great. Miss Robin's brother is as nice as him. And she's probably going to say, no, he's not. No, he's not. He pulled my pigtails when we were younger. Hey, John, it's an embarrassing situation for the state, so they'll probably try and make it go away. I hope not. I think it's going to get, that's one of the reasons why we get into these cases as soon as possible and start pushing them out. If we can get it bigger than life early on, it prevents them from being able to do underhanded stuff. So our first issue here is we've got 2 children that disappeared out of the state of Ohio, allegedly. Now, could they have been brought in and carried across state lines for the purpose of a disposal? There is a possibility of that, but at the end of the day, we've got 2 juveniles that need to be identified in this area. So I'm always a strong believer, and now granted, we do have some outliers, so this is more of a rule, whatever they call it. You know what I'm trying to say here. My brain's short-circuiting just a tad bit, but at the end of the day, I truly believe people work in environments that they're comfortable in. So this particular park, in my opinion, would have some type of, they would know about it. Whoever put these children there, they would have known that they had opportunity and seclusion to dig a hole. They were in a shallow grave. So that tells me that person felt comfortable enough to take suitcases out there with a shovel. Okay, I'm sorry. I think that if somebody saw some person getting out of a car with a suitcase and a shovel in a hand and reeling the suitcase out to a foliage area, I guess dense area, I think many of us would probably stop and start picking up the phone and saying, hey, there's something really suspicious. I'm watching a guy rolling a suitcase, down to a dense area, a dense, wilderness, whatever, a park with a shovel. It doesn't look good. It looks pretty suspicious, right? It looks pretty suspicious. So I'd have to think that the person went there knowing that they would have seclusion, knowing that they would be able to pull these suitcases out, knowing that they would be able to dig up holes undetected. And they went undetected for, it sounds like, a significant amount of time. Now, what does she mean by that? 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years? Honestly, I don't know. We don't know what we're looking at here. We're hearing 2 juveniles. And body. I'm not listening to remains. To me, there's a difference. When you hear a body, you're expecting tissue to be attached. When you hear remains, you're basically, thinking bones, right? So body tissue remains bones. That's kind of how I decipher when I'm reading. That's what comes to my mind, and I'd have to think that that's what comes to your mind. We're getting there. It's some park in Cleveland. Did it say what park it was? Let me see here. They just say Ohio Park. So let's just do an AI. I'm sure that they've got it. They did tell me. I know it's in one of these prints. I think it might be this one here. Yeah. So it was found off 167th Street near Ginn Academy. Ginn Academy. And if there's an academy there, thinking these girls were lost in the system before ground was frozen and before snowstorms, that's possible. Maybe some of that snowstorm and that all melting created something that helped wash some of that dirt away that exposed those suitcases. I think these girls, yep. It's quite easy to come through the back of the woods where they were found. Didn't have to come from the road. Okay, well, that's interesting. We'll have to look. We'll have to pull this area up on a map. They got the map right here. So kind of here, you can see there's Ginn Academy, and it's kind of like in this little field, it looks like, or near this little field. I'm surprised they weren't found sooner. But it seems like somebody would have had, with these streets being so close together, for somebody to feel that comfortable to do that. I don't know. This seems like somebody that would be going to that. What is Ginn Academy? Let's see what Ginn Academy is. Ginn Academy is an all-boys public school. Is an all-boys public high school located in Cleveland, Ohio, a part of Cleveland. What do you bet that it was a man that hurt these girls, and it was probably a man that went to this academy? I bet you that. That sounds pretty interesting. An all-boys school? Because usually it's I shouldn't say usually. Right now in today's society, it doesn't really matter. It can be the mom, it can be the stepdad, it can be the father. At the end of the day, people are they lose their crap on their kids. I just, for the life of me, can't, right on the tree line too. Yeah, so somebody, it just tells me that I feel like that whoever is responsible at burying these people might have been a male that went to that Ginn Academy. Seriously. It's a hard G. Bet it's not. Okay. That would be interesting if it was, because I'm trying to find who would know. I mean, I guess anybody on those other streets would know that spot is this for the people that live in this area, is this a relatively safe community, or is this in a very problematic, maybe drug or violent filled community of Cleveland? Because I'm from Florida, okay, and in Florida, you can have like a freaking ritzy area a few streets from the ghetto in our state. So, it's kind of hard. So we have like trafficking is bad in Ohio. I didn't get the ages. The ages are 8.5 to 11 for one, and 8.5 to 10 for the smaller of the two, and then 11 to 14 for the older of the two. Okay, relatively safe. But was a guy likely? Well, we were surprised because Jaden Spencer, his mama did that to him. His mama hurt him. His mama, took him 19 miles away and buried him in some, whatever. And it was his mom. It was just totally his mom. Mom. Boyfriend or husband, stepfather is, arrested right now, but it's because he tried to help her out, try to conceal what she did, but it was still her that did it. I mean, mamas are getting a little crazy this day. You know, when we were growing up, you had to watch out for the mamas. Mama bears were not to be messed with. My stepdaughter's family lives in the same general area. Gotcha. Well, I gotta, you know, we used to once upon a time look at all the guys in these cases. I no longer do that because I find that moms are just as lethal, which is just insanity to me. Just pure insanity.
Ongoing. We have to wait for results from the medical examiner, and from there, you know, we should have an update once we have further information.
I want to
So
know
if you have any questions,
how
we'll
this
open it up.
happens.
The body's dismembered.
No.
And approximately how big are these suitcases if you were to...
I am not going to give that information right now, so the only thing I do ask is if somebody saw something that was suspicious involving something that sounds familiar, I don't want to give certain information.
So they can't, I understand why they're not giving the suitcases, because if some crackpot walks in there and says, I got information, I saw them wheeling the suitcases, well, what color, you know, how big were the suitcases? I mean, I have to, we don't even know how what size these kids were. They could have been tiny kids because they weren't being well taken care of. You know, I don't know. I don't want to speculate here. But I'd have to assume that the suitcases would have had wheels on it because, well, 8-year-old child, you can just slurp. I don't know.
Information out that could tamper the investigation.
Were the two victims related?
No, we don't have any identification of.
So that's going to be our question. She's not saying no, they're not related. I think she's saying no, we have no identification on these individuals to determine whether they're related.
Either the victims at this time.
But they're...
Do you have any suspects?
No.
They don't know who the
They're
victims
missing
are.
persons, missing children that match the two girls that were found.
So it's a good question. We have checked our, locally, we have no reports of any missing children that match these identifications.
Okay. Excuse me. Okay, let's go over here to, what is it? Namus? Is this it? There should be a search here. Services. Missing persons. Let's go down here and see what we got. Female. Got black. And I don't know. So we got, but it doesn't let me say their age. It has feet. Created between, let's go back 10 years. So we're down to 1,200 black females. Wish they'd let me put dates, ages. They don't let us put ages in these things. Eye color, description, physical description, shirt, pants, keyword, make, model, images, facial ID, blah, 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 blah. But they don't let me put child or adolescent. So let's put this missing age. Let's put this in order from less than a year. Okay, let's put 100. We have 49, so that'll put them all on the same page, hopefully. So we have, yes, less than a year. Okay, so now we're at here, 8. Let's see if we can do it by the state. Let me see if we can do it by the state. See if we can find Ohio. Which for whatever reason, I'm not convinced that these are specifically from Ohio. I think I like the other way I was doing it. 8. Let's look for something closer to Ohio. Sorry, guys. I messed that up, didn't I? So let's go back to the top here. Let's do age. And then let's go to age 8. So here's our 8 years old. And we've got Florida, Texas, and Nebraska. We're missing children from there. Now I'll go to 10. We don't have any 9-year-olds missing. According to this report, we don't have any 9-year-olds missing. But we do have 10-year-olds missing. And we've got some from Florida, Okaloosa, Florida. We got 3 back-to-back from Florida, Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. Guys, I don't see anybody missing from Ohio in this age group. So if these teens are from Ohio, then they were literally never reported at all in the state of Ohio. That is insane. How the heck can we literally have 2 children disappear? BHB, 2 kids ages 9 and 10, rape and brutal attack attempted. Where's that at? Sandy, can you send that to me? bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'd like to see that. Oh, maybe Nebraska, neighboring state. Ooh, okay, so let's look at some Nebraska. Okay, so we got Nebraska, neighboring state. Okay. We got New York. I think we only had 1 Nebraska. We don't have 2 children missing from Nebraska. 1 years old. No, they said that were about 8.5 to 10. Florida, Oklahoma, California, Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma. I think Nebraska was the, oh, here's one. And it's Mary Lise Clark, 14 years old, from Nebraska. She disappeared February 19th, 2026. Oh, she would be current. Her current age would be 67. So, not her. Where was that? Nebraska. It says 2006. How can the person be? Oh, they went missing. Is that the missing date? 1972? That must be their date of birth. So this must be the date that they went missing. What the hell date is this? Missing age. Oh, okay. So let me use this number here. Missing age. So these people went missing. Okay, so let's get past that. Let's get to, oh, good gracious. That's kind of weird, huh? Like they wouldn't put right next to it 67 years old. So the person would be 91 years old now. So let's look at when these incidences happened. So we want to get, okay, here's 2016. Nothing that I can see interesting so far. That was crazy. I had a 67-year-old lady. It's like, what? That's insanity. So 2016, 13. So we got, so there's a few from Florida. There's a few from Florida. I need to reach out to Florida and find out why we have these, because they're inactive. They're in Florida. We've already looked at them, so they're inactive. Why are they inactive? Why are they inactive? Here's one from Ohio, 2017, Kimberly Wilson Talley. Looks like this disappeared 2017 from Ohio. That's the first one I've seen so far from Ohio. This is crazy. There's a lot of people missing, I tell you what. I don't know, guys. It doesn't look like anybody from the area. And this person's 19 years old, so I don't know. Guys, I don't think anybody's missing from this area. I think the lady is accurate. There's no missing persons from that area. Not just that area. I don't think there's missing persons that match this description from the entire state.
We are checking statewide as well. We also have the assistance from our federal, state, and local partners. This is a priority. This is a traumatic event for our officers, for the community. And, you know, this is just such a tragic incident. But we are trying to develop any leads we can. That's why we're also asking for the community's help.
I know in last night's press release you said that the department said there's no ongoing threat to the public. What leads investigators to come to that conclusion?
When we say that, it's more we know that this didn't just happen. We still have to develop exactly when this happened, and you know we don't have any indication that there's a clear threat to safety.
I'm so sick of law enforcement saying this because you don't know what happened. There are two individuals in suitcases that appear to be homicide victims, and you're making the bold statement to tell your community not to be vigilant. I think it's time, if they're going to keep doing this, if law enforcement is going to do this and continue to do this, we need to start holding them accountable. We need to start holding them accountable because I don't like this. Either explain that you believe it's an isolated incident because you believe it's the parents, or that you don't know what happens, and yes, this could be a direct threat to our community because we don't know what happened. We pay people to tell us the truth, not to give us word salad. I'm so sick and tired of law enforcement thinking that I need to be, I can't handle the truth. We can handle the truth. We can handle the truth. But when people in law enforcement time after time comes back, like Brian Kohberger, they said there was no threat to the public. Do you truly believe that? Brian Kohberger was a threat to anybody that came in contact with him. And we've got law enforcement out there saying that this is a targeted attack and not to worry, that there's no threat to the community. You have a knife-wielding, crazy lunatic that likes breaking into people's houses and choppy. And you're telling me that that's not a threat to the community at large? And you have no idea who did this? I'm sick and tired of hearing that. If you're sick and tired of hearing that, put a 1 in the chat. If you're like, it's just part of the lingo, put a 2 in the chat. Let's see how the audience feels about this. Because I kind of feel some type of way about law enforcement constantly telling us there's no threat to the community. You're telling us you have no idea who these individuals are or what happened to them. How can you possibly say that there's no threat to the community? Wouldn't there be a threat to the community until proven otherwise? I mean, don't we take a precautionary measure saying, hey, you know, we do have 2 deceased individuals here. I would say everybody in our community needs to be vigilant. Right? I mean, I think that's more of an appropriate answer than telling us that we've got 2 juveniles dead, but there's no threat to the community when we don't know what happened to them. We don't know if somebody plucked them out of their home in the middle of the night. We don't know if their parents are in some house or cabin somewhere, you know, choppy or pew pew, and nobody knows that this whole family was, you know, nobody knows. How can you make that assessment that there's no threat to the public? There may be a reason, too. It might be that this happened so long ago that if there was a threat to the public, it would have already happened. There may be that caveat. We can't dismiss that. There could be that caveat. That because they did tell us that it doesn't appear that this luggage set got in that area recently, right? They're saying that it appears that they've been there for some time. But it still upsets me because when they say it, they should clarify it. They should say these have been here for a significant amount of time, so we'd have to assume that if there was a threat to the public that we were unaware of, that threat would have already came to fruition. So because of that, we don't believe that there's a threat to the public. I feel like just a little more clarity and specificity would really be beneficial, because I'm starting to get annoyed that we have mass people out there, mass violent offenders, Brian Kobergers of the world, right? The Nancy Guthrie people of the world. Like, that's a crazy case. Nancy Guthrie's case is scary to me. And to hear Pima County tell us there's no threat to the public? Are you crazy? We literally have a masked gunman on camera in front of this lady's house. We learned that she was literally ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by someone. Nobody can tell us who it is. But don't worry, folks. There's no threat to the community. I can't. And to take a little side of a sponsor, I did want to tell you guys, I think Sonia is the best. Okay, maybe I'm partial because I love her so much. I'm not sure. But we have she gave me a gift. I don't know if you guys noticed it. Yes, I'm wearing my face today. Okay, this is the new design. I love it. I absolutely love it. But look at this. You can get. How many of you guys are true blue Bullhorn Betty fans? If you are true blue, this is more girly than guy-y. Maybe we need to come up with a guy line. But we have more women than men, right? So I'm thinking, get the combo, right? If you are like a major Bullhorn Betty lover, okay? Look at that. I got me a bag. Look at that. I'm sport. I took this bag. I just want to let you know I took this bag to my meeting yesterday. I did. I liked it. So I put my my tripod in it and everything like that. It's funny because the officer that holds there, I know they didn't want me in that office. And they're like, oh, he tried to stop me before I was there. And he's like, it's full in there. I'm like, I already got my seat. Because I'm not going through a freaking a detector, okay? I'm going in the back door, okay? I'm sorry. I don't bring anything there. If you're making us walk through something for a commissioner's thing, whatever. I didn't go through the metal detector. I'm just letting you know. But that's the combo. I think instead of you going to McDonald's and getting the combo this week, I think you just need to get the Bullhorn Betty combo. And it says, advocating and searching for the missing. We love it. We love it. Thank you, Sonia, for that. I just thought I'd show you. She gave it to me while I was in Fort Myers, good gracious, Sumner County, Tennessee. And I brought it home and I looked here and I was meaning to show it to you like all week so far. And I keep forgetting. I most definitely am. I love it. I want a bag. I know. They're awesome. I love it. I love it. You guys get the combo. Reach out to Sonia. Okay, that's it. I just wanted you guys, if you guys are looking at me like, why is Betty wearing a shirt with her face on it? Well, it's because it was gifted to me. And I wear things like, oh, and Evan baby, I've got to take your shirt and I've got a hat. The only thing I put it on, the only problem is you guys have longer arms than me. Okay. So when I put it on, I was flapping away. So I just got to get that trimmed up, and then I'll be wearing that shirt. It looked kind of my arms. Everything else fit perfectly. Except my arms. So I realized you guys must have long arms. I do not have that long of arms, and my arms are fairly short. I'm a wiry one. I'm a little monkey, but my arms aren't that long. that long. That's the only thing. So I will be wearing my good gracious Charlie Kirk shirt as soon as we get the arms fixed on it. So that's it. But it was a wonderful shirt. I put it on. I love it. It's great. I like the material of it. It's very comfortable. It's very comfortable. So that's where we're at with that.
Can you give any sort of update on the condition of the bodies that are found? I know you said it's been some time. This isn't something that just happened, but any sort of...
So right now, the only thing we could say, there's no clear indicators. So there's nothing that's visible enough to determine what the cause of death was.
We had heard, Chief, that perhaps these children were malnourished. Is that something that you heard as well?
I don't have a comment on that. We heard, did you hear that as well? I don't know any chief of police or sheriff that will ever go on the record with an opinion. Usually they're factual based. They only put facts up there. So, yeah, you're asking her, she heard it? I don't think so. Defer to the medical examiner once their results come out.
Were the individuals clothed?
I will also defer to the medical examiner on that. At this time.
That's a good question. We didn't think about that. Were the individuals closed?
Was there any identification inside the suitcase or a name on a shirt, like a kid's shirt, or anything that would lead you to...
Unfortunately, we have no indicators right now of the identity of the children involved.
That makes me so angry. Folks! We have children missing in our country that are in suitcases, and we have no earthly idea where they came from. Usually carry a Toronto Maple Leaf hockey stick bag I had made for me, but I will gladly sport a Bullhorn Betty bag. I know, I love it. I love it. I actually like it. It has everything. It has everything. Anyways, but my problem here, and I told you that's going to be my first problem, is how in the world can two children disappear in our country? And again, going all the way back to 2004. 2004, our internet has been alive since, for 20 years in 2004. We've made leaps and gains from that point, leaps and bounds from that point on different programs and all this other stuff. Now we have AI. Why are we not doing audits of our school system, of our children's rosters, and find out which ones just accidentally disappeared? Because obviously these two children disappeared from our country and we didn't even know to be looking for them. How in the world does that happen? Where's the checks and balances here? And again, coming down to, I can't say like 100%, but in my opinion, I believe the Department of Children and Family Services are going to ultimately have been involved before the demise of these two children. And it brings me back to the next question. Why in the hell are we spending billions of dollars when they can't save any of our kids? They're not saving our kids. They're not saving the most vulnerable of our children. And the ones that are going into the system are being things like groomed and trafficked or whatever that case may be, according to reports that I've read from our federal partners. So what the hell are we doing here? This is not a buffet. It's the Department of Children and Family Services. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of funding it. If this is the results that we keep getting over and over and over and over again, this is not working. It's costing us an arm and a leg, and our children are still dying. So what do we do? Where's the next step? What policies need to be in place? What do we need to be doing as individuals in our communities to support better policies for the Department of Children and Family Services? Because every single case we come to that's like this, we already know that the Department of Children and Family Services were involved. We know that. Why weren't the schools involved? How in the world did these kids get gone without the schools reporting them? I mean, we learned even in the Ashley Buzzard, even though she was all the way over in California where they didn't have any truancy laws, so they could not even arrest this mother. They couldn't even arrest this mother out in California. But I don't think these students, these children here are from California. I think they're from a different state, if not from Ohio by itself, right? They may be residents of Ohio somewhere. They may be a bordering state and came in just for this disposal. We don't know. But if I had to bet, I'd have to bet that they were most likely somewhere in Ohio versus over state lines. I guess we need to see how far away from the state line this is before I make that assessment. I think I need to look at the state line. I believe CPS needs to be National Register. That way you move the yes. You guys know my position. I thought we should have had, that's one of the first things that I ever brought up on my show as being the help for the Department of Children and Family Services, and that is a centralized database. That has been one of my biggest talking points on this show for 5 years. For 5 years. It has been our talking point because the exact thing that you said, Robin, because then whenever somebody moves and that person is registered for a driver's license or to vote or whatever the case may be, it should be triggering the Department of Children and Family Services in the area that this person has been in the system and has recently moved, either to avoid being held accountable for something, but it should trigger an immediate house check. As soon as that driver's license or that ID is updated, because you can't get an ID or driver's license to work or anything else. So as soon as that driver's license is updated for the address, there should be a home visit triggered by the local Department of Children and Family Services. And when somebody types into their machine and types in the social security number of that child or that parent, their whole report from every single state should be well known and summarized for that next caseworker. All the problems they had with the parents, all the problems they've had with the student, all the problems that they've observed while covering the case, all of that should be in there for the next social worker that works with that family. There has to be a better way. What we're doing right now is bullcrap. And I know that this centralized database is going to cost us millions upon millions, probably, if I had to guess, $50 or $60 million or more to get up and running for something like this. Because you need servers, you need all types of things, security, the best of security, because you're talking about vulnerable children, you have privacy stuff, you need something that can already, put those redacted stuff in those. So that's going to be something that's equipped with AI. So you're talking about, building this site is going to take millions of dollars to do, and the ongoing processing of that site throughout the years are also going to be, an arm and a leg to maintain, especially our equipment and our servers and cloud storage and stuff like that for all of these things. And I understand that, but it needs to be done. It needs to cost us, because right now we're just pissing money away. We're pissing millions and millions and millions of dollars away, and our children are winding up in suitcases, buried in shallow graves in parks. So we've got to be able to move the needle a little bit, just a little bit. This case is very problematic for me for a variety of reasons, not just the fact that, there's two children. I mean, we've seen a lot of atrocities covering true crime cases. So as hard as these cases are, they're not surprising to us. But what is surprising to us is how children can disappear without triggering anything from a school. These are school-age kids. These are not, children under the age of 5 years old. Where's the triggering? I mean, even in California, where they had no truancy laws, nothing to arrest Ashley Buzzard on, they were still able to trigger we haven't seen the child in days. The child hasn't signed in for days. Where was that trigger for these two children? What does it mean they've been there for some time? A week? 2 weeks? A month? 6 months? A year? More than a year? We've got a lot of questions on these cases, but I will tell you guys, this is a breaking news case. This requires all hands on deck until these children are identified and somebody is arrested for what they've done to these children. This needs to be a top priority for our country and for our true crime community. This case right here needs to be a top priority. These children were already disadvantaged. Okay? Obviously, something was happening inside their home. They lost their life because of it, and we have to try to find out who they are and protect them, even after death.
Should we believe that they're local? Or do we not know that
we can't
either?
even determine that at this time.
So sad.
Can you kind of describe that neighborhood to us? Or is there often foot traffic in that area where the bodies?
Yeah, so the caller in this incident was just a resident from the area who was walking their dog through the area. This is a field close to the school over there. This is just a residential neighborhood that.
How many people have walked by this? What triggered, and if there's a neighbor walking his dog, how many times have that dog walked by this? What caused these things to unearth so slightly to get a dog to go over there to find out that there was a homicide, or a double homicide for this matter? This is in a residential neighborhood, folks. How can somebody go in a residential neighborhood and dig 2 holes and stick luggage in it without anybody noticing anything? Those roads are awfully close together. You would have assumed somebody would have saw something. I mean, and the doorbell cameras, if this happened years ago, that stuff's lost and lost forever unless there's a Walmart nearby. Walmart has some, they keep their stuff. They keep their stuff. I don't know how Walmart does it, but Walmart's got it. Yeah, they're going to have to probably go to dental records. But I think they're going to have an uphill battle because they don't even know where to begin. From my understanding, we just looked at the NamUs list. I guess we can go to the Ohio list, but I don't see 2 black juveniles that disappeared together. And from everything I'm gathering, even though they haven't said that, the way they're speaking of these cases, they believe that these cases dropped at the same time. So, it's hard. 8.5, between 8.5 and 10, and 11 and 14. I mean, I understand, the 11 and 14 probably's got a mouth, getting into that air, but how can you hurt your children? Like, how can you hurt your children? I don't understand. How can you allow somebody to hurt your children? How can you stand by and watch your children be abused? Like, I don't understand how any person can literally do that. And we see it all the time.
That I'm sure a lot of people do frequent. The weather has been, changing recently. The snow's been thawing, so it's really hard to determine the length of time at this point.
That brings us a valid point, folks. Didn't even think about that. If these children were put in there before, or right before the winter, maybe that's why their bodies, instead of remains, maybe they're preserved. Maybe this assailant unintentionally preserved the bodies. If they unintentionally preserved these bodies because they buried them in cold ground and then the cold came along, then that would have preserved tissue, preserved DNA. That ice could preserve a lot. As crazy as this sounds, I'm not trying to sound insensitive at all. We're dealing with, a very sensitive case here with loss of life. But the next thing is preservation. If we can get some utilized DNA, fingerprints, something like that, because the cold weather preserved it, we might have some real good evidence on these individuals if it wasn't too long, if they're not there for years. It just doesn't sound like they've been there for years. But maybe before the blizzards came in. Before the colds came in, that was months ago. Yeah, that might be a substantial time ago. Aunts, uncles, grandparents aren't asking to see these young children. Somebody's been told a lie. Somebody's been told a lie, and they probably felt that they were told a lie. Deep down in their stomach, they felt like the person lied to them about where the children were. I need somebody to go back and recollect that. Could that have been several months ago? Could it have been almost a year ago? Yeah. All of those are on the table, perfectly preserved. Yeah, Annette, it's possible. it's possible we might have a lot of great trace to work with. That's, you know, in a situation like this, that's the best scenario. You know, we would like the situation never to be here. You know, I mean, we have our youth are our next generation. They deserve to thrive. They deserve a real chance at making something of themselves. And all too often, some of our children are born in some of the worst homes by some of the worst people, affiliated and related to some of the most disgusting predators. And there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. And it's so helpless. And at times, you know, we just have to wait for the shoe to drop. And usually when the shoe drops, somebody's dead. I feel like there's got to be a better way. There's just got to be a better way. But what is that better way? System missed them? That is exactly what I am saying, Kawasaki. That is exactly what I'm saying. How in the world do school-age children disappear in our society this day and age? Where's the school? Where's the family? This is going to be a situation where these people had children with them one day and not with them the next day. Okay? And they were acting sus. Nobody can do what we just saw. Okay? Which we didn't see a whole lot. But we definitely know there's 2 suitcases, there's 2 bodies, and they were partially buried. There's no way that a human being can do that and just act like everything's okay. There's something that changed in their demeanor. There's something that changed in their behavior. You're going to see subtle or very rapid changes in them. They may have been the nicest people, and now their fuse is short and their children are missing. Yet they're saying they're off with their daddy or their aunt or their grandmother, but you just never saw them again. Does that meet with somebody that you worked with at a factory? Does that meet with somebody that you worked with on vehicles at a shop? Is this somebody that you know that does Uber delivery or, just somebody you know? Is this somebody that was on your road trying to get with the man to get, substances, that had children one minute and then all of a sudden their children are gone the next minute? Somebody knows something in this area. Somebody saw something. I don't believe that somebody can go up there, dig a hole, put suitcases in that hole without anybody in a community seeing anything suspicious. You may have not noticed that it was suspicious. You might have felt like it was out of place. But go back months, years. I wish we had some idea of timing. Was this 6 months ago? Because it's hard to tell people, oh, this has been here for a while, but we need you to think of anything suspicious. I can think of 5 things suspicious that happened last week. We're clearly not talking about what happened last week. So what time frame are we talking about? Where do we need to focus our audience of what may be out of place or suspicious or weird during what time frame? And that's where we're lacking in this. We have no time frame, folks. We have no time frame.
At this point.
We have no cause of death, and we have no identification of these 2 individuals.
There are some businesses around there with cameras that appear to be pointing. I don't know how far they go, but have you been gathering some of that evidence?
Yeah, so our detectives have been out there actively walking the neighborhoods and gathering the information. The difficult part is that timeline, how far you have to look back, and a lot of cameras don't capture historical data. So
that's what we were just talking about. That's what we were just talking about. And so this is telling me that they believe these bodies have been here months. They don't believe this is recent.
So we are currently still canvassing for that. So if someone has cameras and they want to, just do...
Believe it or not, there are hobbyists out there. There are hobbyists out there that collect all this stuff and put it on a database. I don't know why they do it, but you know what? You might have a weird person that does that in this community. They might have cameras. If you're around the 162nd Street area, around this place, and you're one of those people that like keeping a bunch of footage, random footage, you might be the hero today. For the first time in your life, you might be the hero. right? I'm not meaning that disrespectful, but I know people like that, and every single person I met, and they know it. They know it. They're not immune to the fact that they're weird. They even say, I know I'm a weird guy, or I know I'm a weird gal. Check West Virginia missing. So we have some potential West Virginia missing. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to do that. Give me just a second. Let me keep going here. Sorry for talking, but we have to.
A cursory review to see if they have anything suspicious. Please let us know and give us a call.
For anyone watching this story, you want people to come forward who may have seen something suspicious. What are some things that, should set off an alarm and they should contact you about?
Anything that you see that's out of the ordinary. Did you see anyone spending a significant amount of time in that area? Someone who seems out of sorts to your neighborhood. Usually in residential areas, what's happening in your neighborhood.
Yep.
Something just seems a little bit off. That's why we're asking that anyone who has anything that they believe to be information directly related to or suspicious, that they give us a call.
So let's go back to this. So we're looking at here. Now, as you see, there's this school up here. I think we need to get this. Hold on here. Let me, actually, let me do this one. Let's put this on copy. Let's put this on a map. I mean, there's the school. I'm sorry. The only way you're going to be able to do what you're doing here, and I'm assuming that is this where it's at? Are my Cleveland people still in the chat? If I still have some Cleveland people in the chat, is this where the suitcase was found? The suitcase situation is trending these days. I know. We've had several of them in the last few years. No one fears God anymore. That's the problem. People need to have, people, I don't know. It looks like there are many industrial businesses and empty buildings in that area. But I'm trying to determine, because this looks like the field right here, but I can't determine if this is the field that they're referring to or not, because I feel like it is, because we turned around 180 because we were pointing this way on there, and we turned out 180 and we see this green patch, and then right behind it shrubbery. Is there more down this road, I guess is the question. Let's just keep going. So there is, look at this. There's this right here. Does anybody live there? And then it backs up to like a trucking company on the other side. So there's a fence all the way down here. I would like to know where this really is on this property, but this right here seems, if somebody, in my opinion, was going to do something here, it would have been at night. There's too many people. There's too many people. Hey, Reba, it's nice to see you. A lot of people are so wrapped up in their own self, they don't care. It's unfortunate. I recently saw Cops episode. A lady had her niece and nephew in tote in her truck for at least a year, like 4 and 6. Yeah, I don't know. There's the school. We definitely see the school. And I have to believe that this is the green area that they're referring to. They are down the road from the school. But there's no guarantee that I'm even in the right place. But this looks, these look like nice houses. They're 2-story. They're clean. They're pristine. They're near a school. This is the all-boys school. So I have to assume that this is the green space that they're talking about, and that she must have been in the in this tree line somehow. But what I'm finding, folks, is right behind, you see this big mound over here? Let's see if we can go over. Is there any way I can go over? Let's go right there. Now we're on the other side. Okay, so now we're on the other side of the green. So we should be able to turn this around. There's the trucking company right down there. Let's keep going. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody could have pulled into here and walked straight back there. There's that mound. What's the name of this? Oops. This would be my suggestion right here. What does that say? Hold on. Elson International. There's that big mound behind that green area. So, guys, this is what I'm seeing here. So here's the green area we were just on. Now, I went all the way back up here. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see that. So I went all the way back right here because behind here, here's the school right there. And behind here, there was a wooded line, and then you saw this mountain of dirt, but I could see tractor trailers. And so I went over here to the 168 to turn around to see what we were looking at here. And so we have a big business right here and a tractor trailers and tractor trailer stuff here. The reason why it's so important is because right behind the tractor trailers, there's like a fence and some tree lines. And so if they are back there, just bear with me. Now, we don't know where they specifically were located. I'll be working on that. Hey, Strawbirdie, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're well. Somebody could have went through that area. When the cops found them, they were devastated, traumatized. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So this one right here, I think this is the trucking. This is the mound that we saw behind over here. See? Where's the school? Oh, we're too far down. Let's go back down here. See this mound? There's the mound right there. There's the mound that we were just on the other side of the road. And it backs up to this. Why is this important? Because we've got fences here. And if we need somebody to come in and not be detected, they would have had to come in on the 168th side. Because if they came in on the 168th side, then they would have virtually been undetected. Hold on here. Where am I? We need to be right here, I think. Yeah. Where's my... Oops, just move that off. Oops, I didn't mean to move it off the screen. Sorry, I hit a wrong button. There we go. So we need to go down here. Go back to where we were. Where's our big mound? Oh, that's not it. So further up. You're on 68th, right? Let me make sure I'm in the right area here. Oh, I'm too far down. Hold on. I think it's this one right here. Okay, come on. Bring you down. Let's get you back over here. Now we're going to get up here. There we go. Looks like I'm right on the corner. I think that was the building. But you guys get what I'm trying to show you here. It looks like this is going to be the best way for this person to get in behind is this area right here. This is the business. It appears that it's right behind this. Let me keep going down. You're not in the same spot that I was before. I don't know where I was before. But I did find the right place before. I know that. I saw the frickin'... I think it's this one right here. Yeah, I think it's this one. I'm not seeing the big pile of dirt anymore. Where am I? Am I on the wrong road? Directly across would be... Was I right here? No. There's another vacant field. I'll have to figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out nonetheless. But at the end of the day, we did see the mound. We saw the mound behind the field. We looked at the mound. I just couldn't find it again because I got confused. That's all. And at the end of the day, could they have come in that way? They absolutely could have. And that would have avoided any of that residential because businesses are closed at night. So I would anticipate that area being accessible. Now, granted, they would have had to maneuver those bags around but there is another way into that area where those suitcases were ultimately found.
Chief, we had heard that the FBI and perhaps U.S. Marshals were out searching yesterday. Does that search have anything to do with these missing individuals?
No, that's not connected.
Are you working with any other agencies in this? Maybe the FBI, maybe, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, anything like that?
We are working with all of our federal, state, and local partners. From Department of Children and Family Services to CMSD to the FBI, this is a priority investigation.
As far as your knowledge, have you had any other cases here locally similar to this where children were found in suitcases or missing people or like anything like this before?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Chief, can you describe, when it involves children, I mean, it takes this crime to another level.
It does.
Can you talk about that?
So when you look at that, you have an individual who's a resident who locates it, the trauma that happens right there, and at the end of the day, our officers are just regular people, and their parents, and it's something that a lot of officers never have to experience. We hope they would never have to experience, and it's traumatic for everyone, and it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Should people be on heightened alert in and around this area?
I think all residents should always be cautious to the ongoings of their neighborhoods. Just, keeping alert for anything that is suspicious and always reporting it. We can't do police work alone. It takes the community to be a part of that, to call us, to let us know if something in their neighborhood is suspicious that needs, something for us to take a further look at.
Have you been in contact with, CMSD, any local schools, things like that, working with their principals?
We're working with everybody. Yeah.
Can I ask, I know you say you don't want to give away too many details, but the brand of suitcase, perhaps?
I appreciate the question, but because of the integrity of the investigation, I just can't give those specifics at this time.
I wouldn't think that she could. Those are specifics.
As soon as we develop more leads or we have additional information, we will keep you updated. As soon as the coroner's office has more for us, we will keep you updated on that information. We just want to. The most important thing is misinformation gets out there quickly, and we want to clarify exactly what we know at this time. The delay in us giving the update is because it's a sensitive investigation, and there wasn't a lot to go on at this point. So we want to give you as much factual information that we have.
That's sad to hear. Not a lot to go on at this juncture of the investigation. I can't imagine. This has got to be one of those very difficult cases because you're dealing with elements, right? You've got the cold. We had snow, blizzard, ice, water that came from those. We don't know what kind of suitcases are. Are they cloth suitcases or hard-shelled suitcases? Those matter related to penetration and what can get inside that suitcase and start breaking down evidence and body tissue and whatnot. Then you've got the fact that these children don't appear to be on any database. They don't appear to be missing in the sense of we have missing children. This is a shocker that there are 2 children in suitcases, adolescent, teenage, potentially teenage children in suitcases, and our schools don't know that we have missing children. Our Department of Children and Families don't know that we have missing children. Like the whole I'm so sick. This is my problem here. I'm so sick and tired. I feel like a broken record with these darn cases. It's the same damn thing over and over again with just different names and different locations. The Department of Children and Family Services are ultimately going to be a failure. They're going to be the loser in this story. I just feel it We all know that deep in our guts, we all feel the same way, that we know that the Department of Children and Family Services were already involved in these 2 children's lives, and here we have 2 children in these suitcases that should not be there. They should have been taken out of that home a lot sooner. There should be mechanisms in this thing for these social workers to save these children. To save these children. I feel like it's exhausting. What can we do as a society to make the Department of Children's Services work and function better? Because we know that we're going to hear about this case, we're going to find out who they are, and we're going to know without a doubt that the Department of Children and Family Services were involved. How in the hell did this ball get dropped? I want an internal investigation, but we can't even get that yet because we don't know where to have the internal investigation at. We don't even know where these kids came from. We have no idea. It's tough. It's tough.
We have as soon as we could.
Are there any solid leads right now?
No.
Can I ask, and you may not be able to give it, but can you classify how badly decomposed these bodies were?
Hopefully
Was
they
it
can.
A great amount? Obviously, that's going to impact the investigation. If that's
Well, I'm going to leave it to the coroner's determination because they take custody of the bodies, and they're doing their review right now, so they will probably.
When will
provide
that come
update
back?
when they're
Hopefully
complete.
somebody asks.
So, Chief, what is your next steps?
As far as
like, where do you go from here? What
Good
will you
question.
do shortly after this news conference?
So I can tell you that, one, we're establishing a 24-hour response line. Our investigators, not just on this investigation, but on many, they spend countless days, nights, hours, whatever it takes, sleepless nights on this investigation. We are working with all of our partners. We are we're canvassing, we're talking to people, and the best thing is to find answers. It's just terrible, horrific situation.
Do you have any idea how long it'll take the medical examiner's office to get
We don't. I don't want to talk about their
thank you.
timelines.
Thank
but
you for checking,
hopefully
Eric. I
We'll have
appreciate
something
you.
soon.
When do you anticipate the next update?
As soon as we have something more. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated, but
So basically, we're not doing any more press conference unless we have something, probative to say, which, okay, I get it. Tianda Bradley was 10 years old, and her system Diamond Bradley, 3 years old when they went missing. Interesting. Well, the age of the children, the students that are out there were believed to be in the range of 8.5 to 10 and 11 to 14. So it's clear that one of the children were much younger than the other child. So that's what they've gotten now, and that's preliminary, and it makes you wonder, and I'm hoping that somebody asked, well, when can we expect the coroner's report? I'd like to know, are we expecting that in the next 24, 48 hours? Are we going to get some preliminary information from that report that's going to be distributed either by a public information officer, press release, or press conference? I would like to know that. We will be reaching out to this law enforcement body and start making contact with them and getting on any notifications with the other media related to this case. Because we're starting to get a collection of Ohio cases, we may end up going out to Ohio as our next trip to cover several different cases, not just this one or the other one, but we've got several cases, the Tepes as well as this one, that are going on in Ohio. I also have friends that are in Ohio that if I go, I'd love to see. I haven't seen for years. So, there are some things that are making Ohio, kind of ring true for the the true crime community here, I may go out there to cover those cases. So we will see where this ends up developing from and where we go from here. But I am eyeballing this case here specifically because of the details of this case. These are young children. I call anybody, even 18-year-olds, young children. The children are adolescents, okay? They're not babies. They're not toddlers. They're still young, and they still had a right to live and thrive in our country. We don't know what happened to them, but because of the nature of the case, we can tell, one, that this is a homicide, and two, that whatever happened to these individuals, it had to have been pretty horrific for them to wind up in the condition that they're in. And so we just want to know who the Cleveland Angels names are so we can start seeking justice for them. The hunt is on, and there is a manhunt underway, a manhunt of an unknown person right now, or persons.
I'm giving you what we have right now. So as soon as we have something further, but again, I encourage anyone, if they saw anything suspicious, if they know anything related to, kids that are missing, that they please call us. And, that's the most important thing. 216-623-5464. Someone will be responding to that line 24 hours.
Yes.
We all set?
Anything else you may want to add? You may have missed or you want to emphasize?
No, I just, the biggest thing is, getting the accurate information out as quickly as we can. That's the most important thing, is making sure that, to honor these young people, making sure the right story is out there.
Amen.
So thank you very much.
Danda Rose with 19 News as we get an up.
So this has got to be difficult. As we are learning, this is very, very difficult for the people in this area. So let's go and start listening to some other news about this.
Alert. Breaking news, and we want to warn you, this story is graphic. The bodies of two young girls found buried in
right
suitcases
there on the tree line.
near
Hold
Ginn
on.
Academy.
Let's look. Let's
for
stop
joining
right here.
us for now.
So this is on the other side. This is this area here. Let's go back to where we were. I'm telling you, this looks like the area right out here. Does it not? Because those look like the trees that they're in. It's just that they don't have any leaves on them, because this looks like this was maybe a spring or summer, and we're just getting off of winter, but they look like they're back here. And if you notice, this looks like almost an abandoned building here. So could they have parked behind this building but this looks like the area, does it not? I mean, those look like the trees. There's some graded fence right here. So let's look around for that. Graded fence. Let's look. Let's see what we got here. Let's go back down this road. I want to find this spot. I think it's here. They said on 167th. This is it. This has got to be it. It's got to be back here. It's got to be back here. Is it? Am I warm at least? I feel like I'm warm. Because I don't really see any other area like this. I feel like I'm warm. I'm going to trust my gut on this one. I kind of believe that they're in this area right here. This looks like some of the gates that they use behind that business, because you can see I think the gate we're seeing through is along this line, because here's the mound of dirt we saw. Here's the back of the truck of a big rig right here. So we know that we were on the right side on the other side. I feel like it's right along here. And look right here. It looks like that this is common for somebody to drive through, because you can see a width of car tires right here, indentation going up. So did somebody just come out here back straight up in the middle of the night and totally just dig like... This to me seems very obvious, but the most, quite frankly, I believe that this is what happened. I think somebody came here at night when nobody was out here, or everybody was, dead of night. And I feel like this would have been a perfect place just to pull back right up to and get it there and do whatever they need to do. This is what it looks like. I think this is the area they were found in, folks. And I think the dog was just walking around here. Go further back. This is about as far back as I can go. Now we're on 163rd. This is now taking us off 167th. And I don't think it's back there. That's a nice fence. They said it's at the corner. It's at the corner of Midland Avenue and East. So you can see it's right here at this right here. Well, there's no tree line right here. So the only tree line is right back here. And that's the only tree line. And that's the tree line I'm showing you right here. That's this tree line right here. So this corner up here is where they're saying is the crossroads. So here is the crossroads right here. Oops, sorry. So as you see, East 167th, and then this is Midland. So the only place that this could be, because we have a house here, we've got houses down there, and we've got a house and yard here with some shrubberies. The only vacant land with the exposed trees are in this area right here. So she has to be back. They have to be back right here. This is where the area is. And then when we take this road down to look at it, there's a path where a vehicle can, and shows tracks. Oh, that's a school. Yeah, this is an all-boys school. This right here is an all-boys school. An all-boys high school, I believe. Jen Academy is an all-boys public high school located in Cleveland, Ohio, a part of Cleveland Metropolitan School District. Jen began instructing in 2007, opening the building previously occupied by Selassie Middle School in the city's South Collinwood neighborhood. So that's an all-boys high school. So, the first thing that I thought of was, could this have been, because I always believe somebody that goes and does this, they're comfortable. I mean, look how open this area is. This is an open area here, right? This is a hugely open area behind me. Oh, you guys can't see it. There we go. This is a hugely opened area out here. For somebody to come up here, back up and potentially, discard suitcases out here, they would have to be ultra comfortable, in my opinion, to be able to do this. This right here, I don't know anybody that would be willing to hide suitcases with such an open park setting. So that means that whoever came here and did this around all these houses with this open field, that's it, Annette. In my opinion, they know the conduct of this neighborhood. They know that at a specific time they can get away with, as horrible as it sounds, murder, right? They could get away with murder at a certain time. So to me, it feels like somebody is ultra familiar with this area. And if they didn't live in the general area, then it brings me back to maybe an attendee of this actual school, or a friend of an attendee of this school, where they've come to this school for events, sporting events or otherwise. I feel like this is such a strange place to put suitcases. Such a strange place to put suitcases, and very much open. Somebody would have absolutely had to know that they would not be caught burying these. Like, who wouldn't see them? Do they know the people that live in this house? Do they know who lives here? Do they know who lives here? Do they know if this is a vacant business? Did they used to own this business? Did their family own this business? What brings them to this area? What brings them to this area? So that's kind of where I'm at with all of this. And so I do believe somebody may know. But let's keep going.
19 News at 4. I'm Nicole Versansky. Brian Duffy will join us in just a bit. Our Harry Boomer spoke with people who live in that neighborhood where the discovery was made, including, Harry, I understand, one of the people who made that discovery.
That is right, Nicole. I am standing right next to the shallow graves where the young girls' bodies were found. It's eerie that someone would dump them like trash. Cleveland police say apparently their bodies were here for some time. These two shallow graves mark the
You seen that building? Hold on. They just showed something. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to find out where the specific spot to these are. Please bear with me. Please bear with me.
Like trash, Cleveland police say apparently their bodies were here for some time.
Okay. Now, where the hell is that? What is this? Does anybody know where this is? This is what we are looking for. This is what we are looking for. Let's go. There they are. There's the cars. There's the brown building. It's right here. It absolutely is right here, folks. It's right here. Let's see where they are. Hold on. There's the fence. It's right by the fence too. Somebody could have pulled up in here and parked at the school. The hell? Let's go back just a little bit. So it's over here. This is where, right there. That right there is where the girls were found. That right there is where the girls were found, right there. We know exactly where they're found now, without a doubt. Without a doubt. They are right here. So they are definitely in this field. So that means somebody could have parked over here. Let's look at the school. Who would have known? So somebody, with it being that close to that parking lot, we're putting together the pieces. We're putting together the pieces. The person didn't come through this way and back this way. I guarantee the person pulled into that front parking lot. Who would have been comfortable enough to pull up to a school with all the surveillance schools have? Who would have been confident enough to pull up to a school and pull those out and bury? Now you're looking at who works there. Now I'm looking at who works there. Janitors, coaches, groundsmen, teachers. Practically a dead-end street. It is pretty much a dead-end street because this business over here, at least from what I can see, looks like it might be abandoned. But I don't see when this photo was taken. I'm not seeing. This was all taken in June 2022. So, I mean, it's been 4 years. So this could have been revitalized. This might be a business now. We can't go, no, this is saying 2025. I'm sorry. It says right here on this photo here, 2025. So this might actually be an abandoned business. So it is practically, and God knows what this is over here, but this almost looks abandoned too. And these are 2025 images I'm seeing, that they're 2025 images. So, and this is 2025 images as well. I'm seeing copyright 2025 Google. So these were images taken in 2025. So they're all over here. So now we're seeing something clear. This person could have gone undetected from all these businesses because they pulled into the parking lot of the school. So let's look at the Gen Academy map. School map of campus. IMG. Okay, Gen Academy, Cleveland. There we go. Site map. Let's look what we got here. Oh, that's for the website map. Okay. So let's do Gen Academy address. This is going to start making sense here eventually. Let's just keep working through it. Let's keep working. Hey, TT. Our Tatty? I don't think sisters, maybe. It's possible. It's possible. Can you do from up above, go year by year on what that called bring not working? Are you talking about the NamUs site of the children? Yeah, we could probably do that, but I want to see this school first. I want to see where that parking lot is. Oh my. Okay. Now we see it clearer. Here's the driveway to get back there, right there. So the girls were found right here. And look at this. No gate, open to the public. Somebody could come right here, turn in, and drive all the way back. Drive all the way back. It's never going to stop people that are paying attention from the front, right here, from seeing them. So if they're moving about at night, it'd be night or weekends, because this school would have had to be closed. Nobody's going to be at this school watching somebody digging holes next to the fence line without saying, I wonder what they're doing, right? So I'm assuming whatever happened would have had to happen. Hey, 3 flying doves, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. They obviously have not been there long or would have been found previously. Yeah, but they've been there for some time. So they've been there. They weren't there long enough for them not to be able to identify that they were female juveniles. When you're dealing with just bones, that makes that determination very difficult, whether they're male or female. Okay? So just by the reality that we're not talking about remains here, we're talking about juvenile body. The juvenile body would imply that there's tissue intact, and they stated that these are female juveniles. Therefore, without the coroner, now they're pushing everything back on the coroner. Now, all the other questions the coroner is going to have to answer. But that means that law enforcement was able to visually tell certain things about these individuals. And that means that they were able to determine that they are juvenile and that they were black female. Now, they may have been able to determine the race even if it was remains because of the hair fibers found in the suitcase. But once the tissue is gone, it makes it more difficult to identify male or female without the coroner. So by those being stated, either the coroner gave them that information and maybe they were further decomposed than we may think they were. But at the end of the day, we do have juvenile females, and they did say their ethnicity is black. So that's what we are dealing with. And that tells me that maybe they weren't as far along degraded wise as they may have been had this been any other time of year. So I have a funny feeling we might have something positive come from this, such as trace that was preserved because of the elements instead of degraded because of the elements. Whenever you have heat, you're dealing with degrading, okay? With Brian Laundrie, he went from skin to bones in less than 10 days in the Florida heat. Completely nothing but everything gone. Tissue, everything. Everything gone off the bones. That happened in 9 to 10 days in the Florida heat. However, whenever you deal with something in colder weather, you're talking about preservation. That means preservation of hair, preservation of tissue, preservation of the breakup of the body by normal, processes of breakdown when you pass away. So we're dealing with potentially, I think you're right, that may not have been there for decomposition starts immediately after death, not 2 or 3 days. Decomposition starts immediate. You start losing your bowels. The acid from your bowels start eating you. You start filling up with gases. Your gases are starting to break down your organs and tissue inside before it starts worrying outside. Within 8 hours, you're usually in full rigor mortis. That's usually released about, I think, in 24 hours. So you can always determine cause, at least manner and time of death by if they were already out of rigor mortis, they may have been there, more than 24 hours. But, after so long, you atrophy. I mean, your body just stays in the position that it's in. So it's even more problems with the case, and that's usually heat. But when you have cold, I think we're going to be in better shape. Not best shape, but better shape. Better shape. Better shape than the climate in Arizona where it's really hot, right? So we're just going to keep praying for this family. We're going to keep praying for this case, and we're going to keep finding out what's happened.
These two shallow graves mark the spots where two young girls were found Monday evening by a man walking his dog.
The only reason, brother, that I opened the door is because it was you.
I appreciate that. I spoke with the man through his security door who found the partially buried bodies. He didn't want to go on camera, and he didn't say much about the gruesome discovery. He was so traumatized, he really didn't want to talk about the experience.
I mean, you seem pretty shook about what you...
Well, wouldn't you be?
Yeah. I mean,
across the street from where you live?
Cheryl Young has lived in her home since 1999. The bodies were found across the street behind Gann Academy, a straight line of sight from her front porch.
Wow.
What do you think about what was found over there? Shocked? Scared?
Yes. A little frightening. It just makes me wonder what happened.
What I'm noticing is it looks like more elderly people live across the street. So again, it comes back to the familiarity of this person, because if you know that elderly people live across the street, what's one thing connected to elderly people? Routine, right? Elderly people have a routine. People that are retired have a routine. They get up at a certain time. They go to bed at a certain time. The only times that you usually have people up is if they're having a hard time sleeping or have a bout of insomnia that night. But for the most part, it sounds like these people here just live their humdrum life and probably have a very, very, just a schedule. She probably gets up at the same time every morning. She probably goes to bed at the same time every morning. Is this something where he could have drove by and see that there's no lights on anybody's house? Possibly. This tells me that somebody did this at night, in my opinion.
How did that come about?
Cleveland police say the bodies of the two teen girls between the ages of 8 and 14 were discovered in separate suitcases, partially buried in these shallow graves by a nearby resident who was walking his dog. The dog hid on one of the suitcases. Police found the second one after they responded to a 911 call.
And hoping that their family find justice and peace with this situation.
But, you think about it. Two girls missing.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard about it. Had you?
I haven't.
Well, two young girls.
I think that's going to be the most shocking out of all of this, is that we don't have these two girls missing in our database. So once this is why we're kind of looking at this case, because we have a funny feeling, at least I do, that we're going to have to advocate for this case, because there's something not right here. How was this not triggered by school? And how was this not triggered by some other metric we have in this country? There should be no way that a child in the United States of America can be disappeared. In 2026, there's just, in my mind, there's no way, with all of the stuff we have tracking the crap out of us and our kids, good gracious. How does this happen? How does this happen? Well, she went to homeschool. Well, we have metrics in place for those homeschools to make sure if children disappear, we know about it. It triggered in Ashley Buzzard's case. So how did this specific situation happen with these young girls? It's just, I can't.
With a really disturbing and heartbreaking discovery on Cleveland's east side.
Police say two young girls were found buried in shallow graves, each hidden inside a suitcase in a field near a local school.
Now the question is, were they buried at the same time? We got so many questions. So many questions. The reason why we have to ask that is because we had Sincere and Classic West just up and disappear. Their adopted parents, Jacqueline and Trezell West, are behind bars for the rest of their life. But they disappeared. But when you listen to the trial, When they were reported missing, they were reported missing together. But during trial, we found out that it was over a month later that one got killed and then the other one was taken out. So, or something. It was a delayed time. I almost believe if I had to, rely on my memory, it was almost a month later. It was almost a month later. In my opinion, it's a person from that area. I don't see how it couldn't be. I think you're absolutely right, Faye. I don't see how this could not be somebody from this area. Which again brings me back to, how can you have children one day and children not there the next day? Somebody is missing 2 female children, 8 and 14, the way I'm looking at this case, or around 8 and 14. And if that is, and I know, wow, that just put shivers in my spine. That just put shivers in my spine, Annette. Ah, yes, you are so right. You are so, so right. I think what we need to do, I think we need you know what I think we need? I think we need a show on buried, decomposing bodies. It's it's kind of gross, but it's something that I think that we would all benefit from, because there's certain, I didn't realize this. Do you know when you bury a body underground and it starts breaking up, that it damages the plant tree above the ground? For example, there may be a plant that starts having waxy leaves. It's not supposed to have waxy leaves, but because there's a body buried under it, it's got waxy leaves. Can you imagine if you were missing a person in your community and you're walking down the road and you look over and, oh my gosh, there's a plant with waxy leaves? And you're like, I wonder. I mean, but I do think, and there's other things, because your body breaks down to methane. And when your body starts breaking down to methane, well, it starts destroying, because it's a methane in toxicity, right? So while methane may be good for some type of agriculture or agricultural purposes, in high concentration, it can start killing the plants or the trees, right? So you always think, outside the box, should we have a show on this? So, because we have a lot of missing people and a lot of us go out and search privately. So should we be having things that might trigger us to go somewhere? But we know that there's only several methods of disposal, right? Yeah, through the garbage can, you can burn to no existence. Pretty obvious, pretty stinky, not necessarily the path forward. You can sink them in water or you can bury them. There's only a few mechanisms to get rid of a human being, whether tiny or big, right? So if we start looking at ways to start identifying places that people may have already been buried by the foliage in the area, either dying or waxy, or maybe some other indicator that might help us, we might be able to, locate more people underground. So absolutely, knowledge is power. I think it'll be a very interesting podcast to have. But I think that there's a lot of things that we can learn from the breakdown of a human body and what it does to the environment and the impacts of the environment. I think it'll be a very educational live stream. I think people would get a lot of education out of it. Maybe I'll even try to reach out. Maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll start working on something like that and reaching out to some professionals. Maybe we'll have some professionals that come up here and give us some body breakdowns. So let's body breakdown and environment. Come on, body breakdown versus environment. I'll start doing some research on that. It's probably going to take me, a few days. And then I've got to still talk to some professionals to make sure I'm understanding what I'm reading. And then hopefully maybe be able to bring them on and kind of break down some of the questions I had as we started, give me a week to 2 weeks. So 1 to 2 week timeline. Or wouldn't be timeline. What would it be? Task. It needs to be done. All right. I'll put that in the calendar and I'll start doing some research on that in downtime and start preparing a live show on that. I mean, it might help. It might not, it might, but there's enough of us get out in the field and work out in the field to search for people, especially if it's something like this happens in our community, that I think we need, best practices of maybe possibly doing searches and maybe best practices of identifying places that bodies can be buried and what those things look like. So I'll start doing the research and we'll get those, we'll prepare a live. I think that'll be really good. I think that'll be very, very good. Very educational too.
Natalie Clydesdale has the latest on the investigation.
It's just terrible, horrific situation.
A grim discovery in a quiet Cleveland neighborhood.
Oh my goodness, it just makes me a little bit afraid.
The Cleveland Division of Police says just after 6 o'clock Monday night, a man walking his dog found the body of a young girl inside of a suitcase that was in a shallow grave. This happened near East 162nd Street and Midland Avenue, right next to Ginn Academy.
And I noticed the light and I said, well, what is going on over there? Because I saw the police cars and the ambulance, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there is something happening over there.
As officers searched the area, they found a second shallow grave nearby with another suitcase. Inside was a second young girl.
It's traumatic for everyone, and it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Investigators say the first victim is believed to be...
All right, I want to go back and just see something. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to analyze some of the footage that we're getting. Okay, well, that explains it. Look at it. It's on this side of the fence. That means the person was not on the other side. That means they had to have pulled up right through here, stopped right over here or parked, which I have to believe they probably stopped, opened their whatever and pulled those things out and started digging without anybody seeing them in an open field? That's pretty stinking brazen. That's brazen as all get out. There is no way you can convince me. I can tell you right now, I would be driving by. If I had a body in my car and was not from this area, there is no way in hell I'd pick that spot right there in this open community. This is a key. This is very key, in my opinion. This is so key. This proves to me that whoever did this either went to that school or is from that community, or both. There is no way anybody would be comfortable enough to drop two bodies. Not just drop them, but literally bury, dig holes and put them in it, in an open field, in a residential neighborhood, unless they knew for a fact nobody was going to come by and see them. That's some confidence there. You're talking about some major, major confidence there. There's no way any normal person trying to drop a body or disappear somebody would pick this place. This right here had to have been known to that person. How many people have you known that's going to just bring out a shovel in the middle of an open field and start digging holes and burying suitcases? That is somebody from that community or specifically from that school. A teacher, a janitor, somebody. Somebody is very, very familiar, and the word comfortable comes to mind. That comfortable word is what's bringing me to, it's got to be somebody from that school or that community. 100, I know, right? With the truck company being right there, people would have assumed he was Yep. Or may have seen him but thought it was on the other side of the fence on the other property. Someone on drugs? Somebody not in their right mind would be able to pull this off. But I'm literally shocked that this field is this opened. And somebody would literally bury suitcases. And here's the crazy thing, folks. They got away with it. They got away with it until yesterday. They literally hid suitcases in an open field in a residential neighborhood where everybody and their mother could see what they were doing. And they were doing it next to a school, which I can guarantee probably had a lot of lights on it. Why in the hell would anybody feel comfortable enough to do this and not think anybody would notice? I'm just saying, that is one of the first things that I can see by covering this and going around this community and seeing this and seeing it right there and following exactly where these young children were placed. DNA, yeah, but they got to find out who these kids are. I mean, they can have all the DNA in the world, but until they have something to match that DNA to, these become does. That's why I refuse to call them does. I want them to be Cleveland Angels, hashtag Cleveland Angels. If you're covering the case, please use hashtag Cleveland Angels. Okay, we want hashtag Cleveland Angels to resonate. Okay, we want that to go viral. These girls deserve to be named, and they deserve justice. So, guys, that's the story for today. I wish I had more, but the information we do have is very simple. 2 adolescent juveniles disappeared from our country. We don't know specifically when, but it's been some time. The person, whoever did this to them, buried them in an open field in a residential neighborhood and went undetected for at least several months from everything I can account. At the minimum, several months. So how did this happen? We don't know. 2, what I would assume, and it's bad for me to assume, but it's my opinion that we're going to ultimately find out these are siblings. We're going to ultimately find out these are siblings in a bad home that most likely had the Department of Children and Family Services already involved in them. And what we're most likely going to find out is a mommy, a stepdaddy, or a daddy did this to them. So if you guys remember any family that had maybe a younger 8-year-old missing or child and a 14-year-old child, and then one day they just happened to go on vacation or go to their daddy's house or go to visit their grandparents or visit family from out of town, you need to be calling law enforcement here in Cleveland and telling them about that person or that family. Somebody out here in Cleveland may not know that these are those children, but they do remember that they had family that lived next to them, went to school with them, whatever the case may be, and one day they were there, and the next day, gone. That is what we are looking for. I would think a truck driver, Amber, but the problem is that, well, could a long hauler have hauled these kids? Let's do 2 black juveniles missing. We've got Viola Davis that says 45 black teens in Cleveland are missing without a trace. That is interesting. Missing Missouri teen located in Georgia.
Okay, let's see what we got so far. Let's pause this. Have you seen these two teens? Okay, these are, okay, no, those are boys. I don't see any. No, I can't do that. So, okay, so we have, looks like some teen guys missing from different 2023 area. So these look like 16 and 17-year-olds. So they're too old for our, yeah, they're too old, unfortunately. These are missing juveniles, but they are a male and a female, so not them. Guys, I'm not seeing, and obviously it's not these two females. They were found safe. So we're at a point in this case where we literally have no earthly idea how this case came about, period. So we're going to be going down this realm. I do have something for Nancy Guthrie. We will go, because I haven't, this was stuff from yesterday, and I'm going to review it. I was going to go through it this morning if we had some time, if we had additional time from talking of this case and learning about this case. I was going to, give you guys an update on Nancy Guthrie. My understanding is not a whole lot happened yesterday. We do know that the family came out to show the respects for the memorial. That was Annie, Savannah, and Tommaso. It was very hard to watch. You could hear them sobbing, and I can't imagine how scared they must be for what their mother went through. I mean, that has to be so unnerving and gut-wrenching. I don't ever want to be in that position. But yesterday, while they were on a live, I was reading on a few sites that there was a man that came up. He looked like he was not right in the head. Okay, I will be honest with you. When I looked at his eyes and looked at his behavior, it looked like maybe he was having a mental episode, potentially. But he believed he knew who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. And I believe he truly believes he knows who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. And then he left the scene, and it looks like law enforcement came up to the scene and was asking, who that guy was. And nobody knew who he was. Also, yes, that's one of the other things that I saw is that, a vehicle came by and injured the memorial out there. And it sounds like they've got cameras now. So I would like to know who was responsible for that, who tried to run over the memorial. Why would they want to run over the memorial, I guess is the question that I would have to ask. Like, this lady is missing. And if somebody is that angry, please read my super chat. I thought I already read it. Did I not read some? Okay. Give me just a second. I'll read all of them to make sure I don't miss any. Happy Wednesday, Betty, Delilah, mods in chat, sending love to you, BHB, everyone, prayers, and whoever may need them. I appreciate you. Happy Hump Day, BHB, mods in chat, prayers to all that need them, sending prayers to all missing. Hugs to all. We were gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership from Michelle. Thank you. We were gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership from Melanie. Thank you. Let Them 66 has been with us for 14 months. Sonia gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Bless you, my dear. Robin, 19 months. You forgot me. LOL. Never mind. Finally see me. Veronica gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Here you go, Lisa. It says, thinking these girls were lost in the system before ground was frozen before storms. IHO, in my humble opinion, allegedly. I think these girls were lost in the system before the ground was frozen and before the storm waters. Okay, gotcha. That's a possibility as well. We got Veronica, most definitely am. And then we got possibly they went missing different times, used the same location because it worked previous. That could be it. But can you imagine somebody coming back there a second time? Well, I guess if you got away with it, but I don't know. I feel like if you get away with it the first time, it's, I don't know if you'd push your luck for a second time, but who knows? Who knows? I truly believe class is classic and sincere from everything I heard about the bathroom and the tub.
I believe they were disposed of through the garbage. There needs to be some mechanism. Like, for example, what do I mean by that? I think there needs, because we got a lot of cameras now in these garbage trucks. I think with the use of AI, I think they should be able to scan inside bags to see if it looks like a body. I'm sorry, there's just too many people being disappeared by our garbage that it's time to put some preventative stuff in there. You know, we regulate the crap out of everything. And especially when we know something's a mechanism for disposal of human life, you know, that we should be putting more regulations, not less regulations. I'm sorry. I don't like paying extra money for our garbage to be picked up, but I want something that can scan and make sure there's not dead bodies being thrown away in our landfills. You know? And I don't know. Hey, Scranton Strangler, it's nice to see you. Good morning, beautiful Betty. It's nice to see you, Lovebug. I hope you are doing well. Thank you. And again, I'm sorry about that. Occasionally when I get on all these talking points, I forget to read, and I'm glad somebody reminds me to stop and check the messages, because if I miss one, I missed others. So thank you guys for all of that. Dogs for garbage. Something's got to give. Cadaver dogs at the landfill. You know, I just think something needs to give. I mean, these people, they see, you know, I know we have garbage, spaghetti and stuff, and maybe it's a little hard, but we need to have something in place, like something that triggers if they think that there's something that could or looks like a body being dumped in the trash, they should be triggered like ding, ding, ding. Please check before you crush type of thing, you know? I'm sorry. I just think that there's technology out there that can accomplish this. Now, how expensive is that technology? I don't know, but this is listen, we have people that are disappeared all the time and nobody can ever tell us where they are, right? And we know that things like Quentin Simon, they've been to the garbage, you know, we hear because, you know, there's so many crushing and stuff like that. They were lucky. They like Quentin Simon, they got a piece of his skull. And they were able to test it. And it confirmed that he was there, right? They tried to get as much of that, as much evidence from that landfill as possible, right? And they only got portions of the evidence that they needed. But it was enough of the evidence that they could prove that that victim was in the landfill. So I try to be very careful with my language here because they try to trigger. I'm going to end up having to fight with YouTube because we have to be able to speak on here, you know, and at the end of the day, we have 2 missing children that we didn't even know was missing until we found them in suitcases. So we've got an uphill battle. This is going to be one of those things that are relying on September, October, maybe, possibly. They said some time. So I don't know what some time is. But please, if you guys are running this case, please remember hashtag Cleveland Angels, hashtag Cleveland Angels. All right, guys, have a great day. I'm going to keep researching this case. If you have any information, please don't forget we have set up a Facebook group. The Facebook, oops, that's for Nancy. Where's my face? There it is. The Facebook group is unidentified Cleveland Angels, because they have not been identified yet. So I was going to just put Cleveland Angels, but they're unidentified. And once we have their names, we're going to change the title of this group. But if you guys could please go over there and sign up, I would greatly appreciate it. Here is the link that you guys can sign up with to be part of that group. And if you guys see anything, any articles, any videos, any X post, anything that is related to this case or a talking point related to this case, please throw into this chat box. We need to find out who these 2 girls are, and then we need to start seeking justice for them. Thank you all for coming and tuning into the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you haven't already signed up or subscribed, please consider doing so. If you're here on the replay crew or you just want to hype this channel, please make sure you hype this video. It truly does help. I know you guys always love helping this channel grow, and there are so many free ways that you can do that. And the most important is liking, sharing, and hyping. They can make things grow so much faster and bigger. And every time we bring on new cases, we bring on new people coming to this channel to see us and hear us. And so we want to welcome all the new people that are coming to this channel for the first time. And we also want to remind our work is never done. We always have to be working. We always have to be staying vigilant, and we always have to look for opportunities to try to fix the system. It's all about advocacy on this channel. We are very, very much involved in our communities. We are very much involved in these cases, and we want to make this world better than when we got here. And so if that's something that you like, please subscribe. Am I going to piss you off during our trips together? I'm sure we will. We're going to butt heads, but that's part of the process, okay? We're never going to grow if we all have the same opinions. So we are going to butt heads. We are going to have differing of opinions. That is going to be natural and normal in any type of advocacy like this. Hopefully, through the advocacy, we all eventually get onto the same page and advocate well for the victims of crime, or well for the laws that we're trying to pass to prevent more victims of crime. But if that's something you're interested in, please stay tuned for the next show here on the Bullhorn Betty channels. Take care, God bless, and we will see you soon.